My name is Ava, and for most of my life, my sister Brianna treated everything like a competition. Growing up, nothing I had was ever allowed to be just mine. If I got good grades, she had to get better ones. If I made a new friend, somehow she became closer to them than I was. If I received praise, she found a way to pull attention back onto herself. At first I thought it was normal sibling rivalry. But as we got older, I realized it was something much darker. Brianna couldn't stand not being the center of attention. For years I tried to ignore it. Then I met Daniel. For the first time in my life, I had something that felt completely my own. Daniel was kind, patient, and supportive. He loved me for who I was, and being with him felt easy. 2 years later we got married. I remember standing beside him on our wedding day thinking that maybe my life was finally beginning. And for a while, it really was. Then one morning everything changed. I stared down at a pregnancy test in complete shock. 2 pink lines. I was pregnant. Tears filled my eyes as I sat on the bathroom floor laughing and crying at the same time. When Daniel came home that evening, I practically tackled him at the front door. "We're having a baby," I said. For a second he just stared at me. Then the biggest smile spread across his face. He picked me up and spun me around the living room while we both laughed. Those next few months were the happiest of my life. Every ultrasound felt magical. Every tiny kick made everything feel real. Daniel and I spent hours decorating the nursery and talking about baby names. I had never felt so loved. Unfortunately, not everyone felt the same way. When Brianna found out, she smiled and congratulated me. But I could see it in her eyes. She was jealous. Every family gathering became about the baby. Everyone wanted updates. Everyone wanted to see ultrasound pictures. Everyone asked how I was feeling. For the first time in years, Brianna wasn't the center of attention. And she hated it. A few months later she made a surprise announcement. "I'm pregnant too." The room erupted with excitement. My parents cried. Relatives cheered. Suddenly all eyes were back on Brianna. At first I was thrilled. I thought our children would grow up together. But something felt off. Whenever I asked about doctor appointments, she changed the subject. Whenever someone asked for ultrasound pictures, she conveniently had an excuse. Still, nobody questioned her. Neither did I. I wish I had. As my due date approached, Brianna seemed increasingly nervous. I assumed it was because she was pregnant. I had no idea she was hiding a terrible secret. Then came the day I went into labor. After hours of pain and exhaustion, I finally heard my baby's cry. It was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. I remember smiling through tears. "My baby," I whispered. Then everything became blurry. Doctors rushed around the room. Machines beeped. Someone gave me medication. The room started spinning. The last thing I remember is feeling incredibly tired. When I woke up, Daniel was sitting beside my bed. He was crying. Fear shot through me instantly. "Where's my baby?" I asked. Nobody answered. A doctor stepped forward. His expression looked devastated. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. The words hit me like a truck. What happened? The baby didn't survive. My entire world shattered. I screamed. I cried. I begged them to tell me it wasn't true. But everyone kept saying the same thing. My daughter was gone. The weeks that followed were a nightmare. I barely got out of bed. I stopped eating. Nothing felt real anymore. Daniel tried to help, but he was grieving too. The pain nearly destroyed us. Then, just weeks later, Brianna announced that she had given birth to a healthy baby girl. A little girl named Lily. Everyone celebrated. I tried to be happy for her. I really did. But every time I looked at Lily, my heart ached. She represented everything I had lost. Years passed. The grief never completely disappeared. Every birthday reminded me of the daughter I never got to know. Every holiday left an empty space in my heart. Meanwhile, Lily grew into a beautiful little girl. And strangely, she always seemed drawn to me. Whenever I visited family gatherings, she wanted to sit beside me. She wanted me to read her stories. She wanted me to hold her hand. She wanted my hugs. Everyone joked that I was her favorite aunt. But deep down, I felt something I couldn't explain. A connection. When Lily was 6 years old, something happened that changed everything. We were at a family barbecue when she tripped and scraped her knee. Before anyone else could react, I rushed over. Without hesitation, she threw her arms around me. As I held her, a strange feeling washed over me. It felt natural. Like I'd been doing it my entire life. The feeling stayed with me for weeks. Then one day an anonymous package arrived at my house. There was no return address. Inside were documents. Medical records. Bank statements. Photographs. And a letter. My hands trembled as I read it. The letter claimed that Brianna had never been pregnant. That she had bribed the doctor who delivered my baby. That my daughter hadn't died. She had been stolen. And Lily was actually mine. I nearly dropped the papers. It sounded insane. Impossible. But as I examined the documents, I realized they looked authentic. There were records of payments made to the doctor. Evidence of forged paperwork. Medical inconsistencies. My heart pounded. For years I had mourned a child who might still be alive. I hired a private investigator. Then another. For months we gathered evidence. The deeper we dug, the worse it became. Every lead pointed to the same horrifying truth. Brianna had faked her pregnancy. The doctor had been paid. And my daughter had been given to her. The betrayal was almost impossible to comprehend. My own sister had stolen my child. Eventually the case went to court. The trial became national news. Every day brought new revelations. Witnesses testified. Financial records were presented. Experts exposed forged documents. The walls Brianna had built over the years finally started collapsing. Then came the DNA test. The courtroom fell silent as the results were revealed. There was no doubt. I was Lily's biological mother. Brianna's face turned white. For years she believed she had gotten away with it. Now the truth was out. The judge was furious. The doctor lost his medical license and faced criminal charges. Brianna faced consequences for everything she had done. But strangely, by that point revenge wasn't what mattered most to me. All I wanted was my daughter. Telling Lily the truth was one of the hardest days of my life. She cried. I cried. Everyone cried. She had so many questions. She was confused, scared, and overwhelmed. But beneath all those emotions was something else. Relief. Because she admitted she had always felt a connection to me she couldn't explain. Slowly we began building the relationship that had been stolen from us. It wasn't instant. Years had been taken away. We couldn't get them back. But we could create new memories. One day at a time. One conversation at a time. One hug at a time. Years later I sat in the audience at Lily's high school graduation. As she crossed the stage, she searched through the crowd. Then she found me. Her face lit up. And she smiled. Not at Brianna. At me. Her mother. The woman who had never stopped loving her. The woman who fought for the truth. The woman who refused to give up. In that moment I realized something important. The greatest revenge wasn't seeing Brianna punished. It wasn't watching her lose everything. It wasn't even winning in court. The greatest revenge was getting my daughter back. Because despite everything my sister had done, she failed. She couldn't steal the bond between a mother and child. And in the end, love won.